What's going on, everybody? Hey, my microphone is working. We are good to go. Welcome inside Game Day After Dark here on Bonfire Sports. Just got to do one quick thing here. See, I did it to myself again. And what I've got is myself playing in my ear because this is what I do. I go to the webpage for you guys and I ensure that I am like in the live chat talking to you guys, letting you know that we're about to go live and to get your questions fired up. Great to see everybody in the live chat tonight. What a football game. A crazy start. Dominance from the Blue Bombers early in game one of the 2023 season. A scary pushback. Moments of real anxiety for Blue Bombers fans, no doubt, at the Madhouse tonight. But then just a dramatic finish, dominant performances, outstanding efforts from so many players on this Winnipeg Blue Bombers team. And, well, let's not bury the lead here. Is Levi Mitchell, as some put it, done? Or was Winnipeg's defense just that good? We're going to get into that and a whole lot more here on Game Day After Dark. Zach Schnitzer, he is on his way home from the Madhouse right now. He will join us in just a couple minutes. You know what? I got to make sure that I send him a link to the show. Wouldn't that be a good idea? I think that would be a good idea if I sent him a link to the show. So I am going to do that right now. But everybody in the live chat, fire me your questions. If you're not in the live chat, you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, or I think you're in the live chat if you're on Facebook. Text the hotline. You're going to see it on the ticker below. 816 TIPS 204-816-8477. There it is right there on your screen. That's the Bonfire hotline. Text now your questions and comments. I'm sure there's lots out there tonight. I want to talk about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defense. I want to talk about Zach Schnitzer and just the way he came exploding out of the gate. A little bit more on Bo Levi, what we saw from the Ticats tonight. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I'll just leave it at that for now. The Hamilton Tiger Cats following a pretty up and down year for them last season. Their penalties and turnovers tonight were egregious. The Ticats were. Brady Oliveira, the run game, the short yardage pass game, the offensive line. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers just exerted authority on the offensive front all night long. Incredibly impressive to watch, and really the reason, in my opinion, why Winnipeg just snuffed out the Ticats' late push in a huge win for Winnipeg. 42-31, your final score. The Hamilton Tiger Cats fighting tooth and nail to get back. What do you guys think? Maybe that was a good early lesson, a good early season lesson for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to have. What do you think of that? You know, listening to some of the players talk to DT and DB on OB and the radio broadcast on the terrestrial airwaves, a lot of those players answering questions about that pushback from the Ticats in the same way that we've seen this Winnipeg Blue Bombers talk about it and do it on the field for years now under Mike O'Shea. And that is, you know, we go back to the sidelines and it's, well, what's done is done. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving forward. Zach Schnitzer. Hey, we've been here before, QB1 said. I liked what Zach Schnitzer said to John Liu on TSN after the game. He described tonight as, quote, unquote, crazy and, quote, the perfect CFL game, end quote. Zach Schnitzer on this thrilling week one game on Friday night at IG Field, the Madhouse on Matheson. You know, it started off like absolutely crazy. You know, we saw the Winnipeg Blue Bombers score touchdown after touchdown in the first quarter. I'm soon going to pull up. First, I got to send Zach this link, because if I don't send Zach this link, I'm going to be in a little bit of trouble that he won't be able to join the show. So we're going to do that, and then we will get to you guys. But appreciate your patience, and appreciate all you guys watching and listening on Bonfire Sports. The community just continues to grow. It's awesome to see everybody like get in here. It's just nice to connect one-on-one, hundreds, thousands on one or two when Zach is here with me. Always have a good time on Bonfire Sports. And if you haven't yet, still really relevant information going into the 2023 season. If you haven't checked it out, go check out Game Day Winnipeg with yours truly and Chris Walby, the legend. Who doesn't want to hear from Chris Walby? Won 3 Grey Cups, played like 17 years in the league, is widely regarded as the greatest offensive lineman to ever play the game, and he's a Winnipegger. Did I mention 3 Grey Cup rings? Yeah, I did. He also called 10 Grey Cups on CBC TV, so he knows what he's talking about. I've worked with him for a heck of a long time. I know many of you guys know that, but, go check that out. Zach joined me on Game Day, Bonfire midweek on Wednesday, as he always does. And, another thing, you can go back and listen to that from Wednesday. And then, of course, him and I are going to be doing it again this coming Wednesday. And speaking of the young man, let's bring him in. Zach Schnitzer joins the show. Where are you, Zach? I got you. Boom. Welcome inside. Game Day After Dark.
What's up, DB?
I bet you had fun at the ballpark tonight.
Oh, my God. I was having a great time until we unceremoniously tried to fumble the game away in the beginning of the fourth quarter. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe they almost made a game of it there, but the crowd was absolutely rabid, buddy. What a night at the park. Almost had 30,000 fans.
Mm-hmm.
Got to hang out with all my Section 128ers, Logan and David and Steve.
You're running up and down the stairs? How's your knee?
I did. My knee is great. I did a Schnitzer stair climb when we got that third touchdown. Yeah, it was.
And you're in better shape, presumably, than Jackson Jeffcoat, who left this game with a lower body injury. I hate to make light of that, but just as a quick segue, it needs to be mentioned that he left. It looked like early-ish in the first quarter, was on the field, got the start at defensive end, and then left the game. And really, we didn't see him again. And they announced it early in the second half that he would not return. Jackson Jeffcoat practiced fully on Monday and Tuesday. He did not practice on Wednesday. That's the extent of the CFL injury report. That is 3 days of practice. So he seemed fine, and everything was good for Jackson Jeffcoat the first 2 days of practice, and then Wednesday did not practice, listed as a hip. We don't know if this is the same injury, but that's what hampered him this week. Have to wonder if it's the same thing, and also have to wonder, I noticed Farhan Lalji, good friend and friend of the show, of course, of TSN. Zach, did you see that he tweeted a lemon? He just tweeted a lemon. Just a lemon emoji. So maybe Sean's coming to town. Would love to hear from everybody in the live chat. And as I mentioned before you stepped in, Zach, and if I could, Zach, because everybody wants to see you the best they can. Just tilt your camera up a tiny bit. And, oh, yeah. Oh, perfect.
Oh, my God. Look at that face.
You are an absolute broadcast pro.
Oh, I forgot to put my chain on. You can see it behind me though, folks. Can't you?
You know what? Let's go no chain tonight, okay? I think we had enough flash on the field. We don't need you blinding us with the Blue Bombers chain. And hey, if you haven't joined us here before, this is how it works here on Bonfire Sports. My name is Darrin Bauming. I'm a reporter. I'm a journalist, sports journalist, a writer, and worked for TSN Radio for a long time. And I've covered the Winnipeg Blue Bombers pretty much daily since 2011. This is Zach Schnitzer. Great guy. And you know,
Meh, meh,
no,
am
great
I?
guy, and an even greater somehow Blue Bombers fan. You're
Oh,
a mensch, Zach. Love having you on the Bonfire Sports shows. You join me every Wednesday all season long on Bonfire midweek. Zach is the super fan. I'm a little bit more the objective observer, so I will give you what I see and how I see it right off the top, Zach. Let's talk about Bo. Hamilton Tiger Cats debut for the 33-year-old veteran quarterback who to this day still has the number one winning percentage as a starting quarterback in CFL history. Is he done, quote unquote, as you've said in shows gone
yeah.
by, or was Winnipeg's defense just that good tonight?
That's a great question. I want to hear the fire starters get in. By the way, we call the people who are on the chat fire starters because we're a bonfire. Darrin, um, I don't know if I'm just doubling down here, but I think he might kind of be done. Like, listen, he had a nice pass to Tim White in the corner of the end zone, who outfought the who was it? Evan Holm actually for the touchdown. But otherwise, he was missing guys who were wide open left, right, and center. That game could have been a lot closer if Bo was on his P's and Q's. And you
Yeah.
didn't used to see Bo missing guys like that. That was his thing. Like he didn't just outright miss guys. And he did tonight. There was a couple times where Tim White was wide open and he missed him. One of them would have been a touchdown. I don't know. I think ever since he's had that surgery in what was it, 2018, he just hasn't been the same Bo. Sorry,
Yeah.
maybe it was 2019. So I think it's not for lack of trying, but I think that surgery just it messed up the whole mechanics, and he's not the same guy. But listen, his team was still in it. Now, albeit I don't know if how much that had to do with him. But were there throws he made that I thought were pretty? They had a lot of zip on them, yeah, for sure. But I don't know. How I'm just judging on what I saw. He was missing guys who were wide open. I mean, that's not our defense stepping up. That's missing guys outright.
Yeah, I will disagree with you a little bit because what I saw from Bo Levi Mitchell was a quarterback that, hey, was under pressure a lot of the night. Like it took Willie Jefferson, what,
Yeah,
5 defensive snaps to get his first knockdown of the season.
yeah,
He finished with 2 tonight, and we're gonna get into the stats a little bit later. So stick around for that. If you want a good look at the stats tonight, go to twitter.com/bonfirewpg. You don't even have to be on Twitter. Just go to that website, twitter.com/bonfirewpg, and just scroll through. You'll find them. I've got 4 screenshots of pretty comprehensive stats on tonight's game. But Bo, yeah, he missed some throws. Yeah, some throws were off. That first interception from Demarcus Houston,
yeah,
when Bo was going to the sideline, the far sideline from the broadcast perspective, at least, that was an egregious error. And
yeah,
yeah, Demarcus Houston was off the charts making plays tonight. Like he came with some real juice. A lot of guys did, but nice play by Houston. But Bo was off on that throw. What I saw a lot of the other time is what our good friend Craig Smith said here in the live chat, and that is most times coverage was excellent. I really believe that was the case. Desmond Lawrence was really good. Mentioned Houston, Dietrich Nichols. I don't think he's been credited with it, but it may come in the coming days. I was actually talking to one of the official statisticians, but that James Butler fumble in the first half,
mm,
the second quarter, I am pretty dang sure that Dietrich Nichols punched that. So we'll see if that comes about. But he was a playmaker. Mentioned Willie Jefferson. Celestin Haba made some things happen, including
he
a
had a
strip
sack,
sack.
didn't he? He had
Yeah,
a
he
sack,
he did have a sack. Well done.
a big sack on 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
when the Stamps went. And by the way, I got to interrupt the flow here. What happened there? It looked like they were going for a field goal. It was a low driving kick, and they took the timeout. Did Hamilton, and then Bo and the Hamilton offense goes for it on 3rd and 10, and that's where Haba got his sack. That was a bizarre sequence to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think at that point in the game, they were trying to make something happen, right? Sometimes you got to dig deep in your strategy to turn the tides in the game. This game was nuts.
Yeah, it
Like
was.
let's this game was nuts. It was
Yeah, it
absolutely
was totally nuts.
bonkers. I want to pull up a couple things here. So I'm just going to pull up my screen share and share with you guys. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so we got some stats. That's great. My good friend Paul Friesen. Okay, look.
I saw that tweet. You retweeted that. That was good.
Bombers quarterback Zach Collaros on pace for 13,608 yards passing this season and 216 touchdowns. That, of course, tweeted by Paul Friesen of the Winnipeg Sun at the end of the first quarter when Winnipeg was just running away with it. Pretty funny there from Friese.
That's good.
Yeah, it was good. I appreciate humor like that, but the reality is, Zach, as we saw, they were dang good. They were dang good tonight, and especially early. I think I tweeted and I made a mistake, so I want to clarify this. Kenneth George Jr. is wearing number 3 at boundary corner, rookie out of Tennessee for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I tweeted that he fell twice. I think he only fell once. It was Lawrence Woods the third that fell. Carlton Agadosi kind of just plowed him over. That was that 40-yard catch Agadosi had to flip the field early in the game. Then it was Kenneth George Jr. Who fell on the Drew Wolodarski touchdown. But
Right.
things were not going Hamilton's way early. Winnipeg, went out to huge leads
Yeah.
that, got a little bit dicey. Let me look at it here. They were up 21-4,
Yeah.
right? Or 32-4.
They were up 32-4 at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, 32-10, 32-17 when Tim White scores Hamilton's first, Bo Levi Mitchell, his first throwing touchdown as a Tie-Cat. So 32-17, then, Oliveira caps a really nice drive. Yeah, Winnipeg was set up with really good field position early in the third quarter from the 50. We saw what I thought was awesome to see as far as creativity in the run game. Rasheed Bailey with a
Yeah,
couple
those were
carries.
huge.
Couple carries for 12 yards and running hard.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be Nick Dembski coming out of the
No.
slot. It can be Rasheed Bailey doing that and running the football between the tackles. So a great punchback on the ground from the Blue
Yeah.
Bombers, 39-17, but then everything exploded. And I want your take. Like, okay, look, Ted Laurent strip sack, Chris Edwards 62-yard scoop and score. They failed the 2-point convert, but that was 39-23. And then Kyle Wilson, not Kyrie Wilson, Kyle Wilson of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, forced fumble on Janarian Grant. Fraser Sopik scoops it, returns it 38 yards to the 2-yard line. James Butler punches it in. The 2-point conversion to Duke Williams is good. It's 39-31 late in the third quarter.
Game.
Like, what was the energy in the stands at that moment, Zach? Because that all happened in like a real time of like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
It was bizarre. So like if I go all the way back to the block punt where we were up, what was it? What would you say? 32-4, and then there was a blocked punt for a touchdown. At that point, you're like, okay, shit happens. They're not going to play a perfect game. Sheehan is new. Maybe there was some issues with the timing there. Jamison Sheehan's first pro football game, right? Whatever. But then, even with that, then they got to 32-17, and we're like, okay, this is a 2-score game. There's what, like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So there was still lots of time. But then we saw that big drive that you were talking about with Rasheed Bailey running a bit of a sweep Like you said, they didn't just use Dembski in the sweeps; they used Bailey. And in fact, the first sweep to Dembski, he fumbled the ball in the first quarter, so maybe they went away from him. Anyway, um, at that point, it was 39-17, and again, the fans in my section were like, "Game's over, right? It's the fourth quarter. It's 39-17." But then, like you said, there's bizarre series of plays. I think people in the stands were starting to get nervous. There was the first one, which I think was the Chris Edwards touchdown,
Yeah.
and then then Janarian Grant pops it up right into the air, lofts it up there, and
Yeah.
then they get it back down to the 2. And at that point, people were starting to get a little freaked out because momentum's a funny thing in football, and
Yeah.
they get it to within one score, and until Sergio Castillo nails that 50-yard field goal to put it up by 2 scores, 42, I guess 31,
Mm-hmm.
um, people were getting nervous, including yours truly, and I wasn't smiling so much anymore. I'm like, can you like the, to give up? I think so. We were up what 29-4, 32-4. So what's that? 28 points.
Yeah.
My goodness.
4
To
touchdowns.
if you blow because then your mind starts to play tricks on you and you're like, okay, are we gonna blow this lead? And if we blow this, is this gonna be the worst fumble job in the history of the CFL? I'm sure teams have come back by more than 28, but I don't remember ever seeing a game like that. Um yeah, but the 5-point spread. I took the Bombers by 5. I wasn't even thinking about the point spread, Steve. I was thinking about losing, the Bombers losing the game.
Yeah.
Fans were getting nervous. Absolutely.
Yeah. Love the comments. Everybody bringing it tonight. Jeff Cabillas and the rest. Waiters. I think Darcy Oak is Jesus Christ. I still can't explain what he did. I wasn't able to take that in, but Darcy Oak is special. He is probably, and this is saying something. I won't say probably. I'll say maybe more talented than his dad. Maybe. And that's saying
Mm,
something.
wow.
Darcy Oak, he's got some game, man. Pretty cool halftime show. The illusionist Darcy Oak
Well, the
for game
Bombers
one.
kind of tried to follow up and then copy what he was doing because
Right,
they
right. It's like,
they
oh, do you see it? Now you
disappeared
don't.
too.
Do you see the win? Now you don't. Do you see the W? Now you don't.
Yeah,
Uh,
right, right.
so
Yeah, yeah,
when the Hamilton Tiger Cats got within 8, the Janarian Grant fumble, uh,
yeah,
you know, Winnipeg's offensive line, I thought, played as well in the fourth quarter as they have ever played. I mean, 2018, 2019, 2021, it doesn't matter. They were exerting authority in
hmm,
the run game and protecting Zach Collaros, leading to that Sergio Castillo field goal to make it 42-31, which was your final score. Yeah, look, I think we should probably get into this on our bonfire burning point. Of course, we'll have Wallys Warrior, Westwood's wide to the right, the happy honker in honor
yes,
of
sir.
the late great Cactus Jack Wells. We'll have our game balls and of course more viewer and listener comments here on Game Day After Dark. Okay, to you, like the defense, Celestin Haba, that strip sack, all the takeaways, that the Blue Bombers defense came away with
Yeah,
tonight. The offensive line, as I was just kind of saying, really just controlling things in the fourth quarter when Winnipeg had the ball, and
yeah,
like I get Ted Laurent had a strip sack, okay, and yeah, maybe that's on the offensive line, maybe it's on something else. You never know until you really dig into the film, and that's a pay
sure.
grade way above both of us, Zach, right? And probably most, maybe not all, but most in the live chat. We'll take another look at it. I always like to watch the Bombers game a second time. I don't think I'll be watching Calgary, BC a second time. I saw
No.
enough last night.
Yeah.
I digress. There's the first one on Game Day After Dark for the season. But the O line to me You know what? I'm not. I'm going to let you pick your burning point first because I don't know if I'm going to go with the O line.
It's actually hard to pick the burning point because
Mm.
the first burning point for me was the first Demarcus Houston interception because so the first series of the game for Hamilton, they go and they get a field goal. The first series for Winnipeg, Dembski fumbles the ball. And that was in Winnipeg territory. So then Hamilton has the ball, and that's where you had that egregious throw by Levi Mitchell, and Houston gets it on the sideline there. And after that, Dembski redeems himself with a touchdown. Then there's another drive. The Bombers score another touchdown where Collaros, and I thought this was the play of the game, and that's saying something for the just I don't know cornucopia of amazing plays in this game. But Collaros on the second touchdown to Bailey, he sort of pump faked. The defender who was in his face jumped up, and then just
Yeah.
as the defender was landing on his feet again, Collaros just lofts it over his head to Bailey. That was a beauty. So that was a second touchdown, and then Winnipeg's next possession, they get the touchdown to Drew Wolodarski. So after that interception by Houston, I was thinking that's the burning point because we had 3 straight touchdown drives. But then, had the score held up like where we were leading by 25 or 28 or whatever, that would have been my burning point for sure. But I'm not so sure because the game changed so much. I don't know if it's not that drive where Castillo gets the 50-yard field goal where you're saying the O-line exerts its will. It's hard for me to say, but I'll stick with my original one with the Houston, his first interception, not the one on the 2-point convert.
Great comment from Lynn Reimer, who's watching live on YouTube. She says,
Yeah.
my burning point is the self-sabotaging penalties the Hamilton Tiger Cats took. Okay, get this. Blew my mind. Like, I mean, I knew it was happening when it happened. Like, how many objectionable conduct penalties did the
Yeah.
Tie Cats take? It was just over and over and over again, and a bunch of different guys and a bunch of different situations. Penalties tonight. And this has been corrected since my tweet about it because I tweeted, like, this is unbelievable. Winnipeg had 3 penalties for 10 yards.
Yep. Typical
Clean,
Bombers. Yep.
clean. Yeah, or even better than typical.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair point. Even
You know,
better.
3, 5, maybe 5 is about that line where O'Shea doesn't like it, but 20, 15, 20, 25,
Here's
3
Mendoza line.
3 for 10 yards is a nice day.
Yeah.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats, 12 penalties, 101 yards.
That's a lot.
That's about as bad as it gets. I remember the
Yeah.
Edmonton Elks a couple years ago. It might have even been pre-pandemic, like 2019. I remember they were leading the league in intercept or in penalties, and it was something like they had 1,000 yards in penalties halfway through the season, right?
Yeah.
So they were averaging 100.
Yeah.
And like the Bombers had like 430.
Yeah. That
And they're
was
over
the
1,000.
Edmonton under Jason Moss, right?
Yes.
Where he would lose
Yeah.
his mind on the
Yeah.
sidelines. 101 yard, and like you said, some of those were objectionable. How many of those were objectionable conduct? I think there was at least 2.
Probably a bunch.
Those are
Yeah.
inexcusable. I mean, tell me, like, what does a coach do with that? Because you must get dressed down when you
Yeah,
take an objectionable conduct penalty.
to say the least. To say
Yeah,
the least, you get dressed down. Those guys are going to work tomorrow, and like, yeah, the those players, those coaches, they're going to work tomorrow. The Blue Bombers are going to work tomorrow.
yeah,
They're not going to do anything on the field. There's not going to be a media availability. There's not going to be a practice. They're going to work. They've got that 24-hour window. Tie Cats will have the same thing where you break it down, you learn your lessons, you get a dressing down, in your words, Zach, well put.
yeah, yeah,
For your mistakes. But I mean, the Tie Cats are going to have just nightmares with their heads hitting the pillow tonight because if they were half as disciplined as they could have been, like they lost by 11 points.
yeah. Not much.
Not much.
No.
Not really much. If you gave them another, you know, let's just say you gave them another 50 yards. Let's say you gave them another 3 minutes.
Yeah.
right? It could have been a different story. And I mean, people are they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, what did Bo do? What did Bo do?" Like, come on. The reality is, this Ticats team scored 31 points against a defense that was killer. And I get it. Lots of turnovers, lots of
Yeah.
real momentum swinging plays. Bo Levi Mitchell tonight, 34 of 18 for 187 yards. So he was just under 53%. One touchdown, two interceptions. I'm trying to pull this up here. Forgive me, guys. Um, and a quarterback efficiency rating of 54.4.
Yeah.
Womp, womp. Really, really like, okay, this is Jeff Cabilla's. Might be the comment of the night. Whoa, Levi Mitchell.
That's my boy, Jeff. He's
Whoa,
always
Levi
dropping
Mitchell.
times.
Love that. And reading these comments out loud so our podcast listeners can follow along. If you're listening via podcast, go leave a review on your podcast app for Bonfire Sports. Go do it right now. A lot of you guys are watching on YouTube and Facebook or Twitter. Go give a thumbs up. Real easy to do. Appreciate it. Meanwhile, how about the other quarterback? Zach Collaros tonight.
Yeah.
Let's look at these just absolutely sterling numbers.
Oh
21 of
my God.
32 passing, 65%, 354 yards, three touchdowns, no picks. 134.1 is a squeak under a perfect quarterback efficiency
Yeah.
rating. To continue, yeah, hey, there's the thumbs up. I see them happening live, Zach. People are you
All
giving us
right.
the are
Finally.
are they giving us the thumbs up or are they giving Zach Collaros the thumbs up for probably,
I don't care. I just want thumbs up. And then just talking about Bo, like one more thing on him. I'd
sure.
have to rewatch the game, which you do, which I do, and it's important to rewatch it because I can say Bo didn't have a good game. He was missing guys in stride, but um, how much of that were guys in his face? It's a good point you make. Were the defensive ends or DBs, if they were blitzing, were they in his face all night? I couldn't tell as a fan. It looked to me like he had some clean looks, but
Yeah.
maybe guys were in his face.
Uh, you know what? I forgot to give my bonfire burning point. So since we're talking about Bo,
Yeah.
I will say, like, you could probably pick something earlier in the game, but I'm gonna go with a pretty obvious one. Celestin Haba, his first
Yeah.
professional start. This guy joined the Blue Bombers 11 days ago.
Yeah.
11 days ago. And he had a strip sack for a turnover on downs that really sealed the game for Winnipeg. That's my bonfire burning point. Keep hitting the live chat with your burning point tonight. You are the fire starters. So you got to tell us what degree Celsius it was and when it happened tonight. Wallys Warrior, Westwood's wide to the right. That's the good and the not so good.
Yeah.
Still do the happy honker and game balls as well. Let's just get right into Walby's Warrior because, like, look,
Sure.
we could go all night with debating selections for the Walby Warrior,
Oh, there's so
like
many.
Collaros, Brady Oliveira, 5.8 yards per carry. Hello,
Yeah.
115 yards, a touchdown. They don't have a second down conversions here, but the guy was off the charts. Nick Dembski, holy cow, 6 of 7, 113 yards, had a touchdown, had a second down conversion. See, they have it for receptions, but not rushing.
They don't have it for running plays. And just
Yeah,
on Oliveira, he had 58 yards on two catches.
yes, he
Caught
did.
both balls thrown his way, both beautiful
See you there.
screen passes by Collaros, large of 36. He had a one screen pass for 36 yards.
Mhm.
I just thought Oliveira was a beast, but there's so many candidates for Walby's Warrior, but I
Well,
I
hey,
I
you know
liked
what? We're not even. Hang on. How about this department?
yeah, try
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, let's pull up that department. Brandon Alexander had a game high 5 tackles, but Maybe not his best game. I'm nitpicking. I am big time nitpicking. Adam Bighill was everywhere tonight. 5 tackles. But here's the thing. Nope. 2 picks for Demarcus Houston, one coming on a 2-point convert attempt. Boy, he was really beating one tackler away from taking that back the other way for 2 points for
I
Winnipeg,
know. I
which would
know.
have been great. Alden Darby, I thought, played really, really well.
Yeah.
Desmond Lawrence, a game high 3 pass knockdowns or
Yeah.
passes defended.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
But I look at this guy who was just
Oh,
off the charts tonight. 5th play from scrimmage, has a knockdown, has another one late in the game. He was all over the field. 2 sacks tonight, a tackle for loss, 3 total tackles, and a forced fumble. For me, Willie Jefferson is my Wallys Warrior.
and do I have to pick a different one? I hope I don't have to pick a different one
You know
because
what? Pick one on offense. How about that?
Willie Jefferson was my warrior. I mean,
Oh, did I take him from
that's a
it? Did I snag you?
you snagged him.
Ooh.
That's a turnover in itself.
Oh
That's a
boy,
takeaway,
that's a
Darren.
takeaway. I'm Houston.
You know
I'm
what?
Houston tonight.
If I have to go, because listen, 2 knockdowns, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble and a tackle for a loss. It doesn't get much better than that for a for a defender, right?
Yep.
Unless you got a pick.
Mhm.
But I would say my warrior on offense would be Brady Oliveira.
Love it.
I thought we had we had almost 500 yards of offense and just beautiful balance between the run and the pass. And listen, Oliveira had beautiful balance between the run and the pass. I think in total he had 170 3 yards from scrimmage or something. What did he? How many rushing yards did he have?
Yeah, 115 and
One.
58. So do your quick maths.
Yeah, I can't do math that quickly.
Me neither. I
Maybe
can't even do
Vicky
it
can.
slow. I can't even do it slow.
I can't do it slow.
Uh,
Vicky or Turkinator can maybe do it. But I mean, just incredible yardage from scrimmage for Oliveira, and also Darren, explosion plays, right? Like he's
yes.
rushing. He has a large of 28. He had two rushes for 10 plus yards, and then he had that 36-yard explosion play on a screen pass from Zach Caleros.
What a
So
weapon he is in the pass game. Man, like
yeah,
they just whatever screen pass the Blue Bombers are setting up there with Brady Oliveira. They only used it twice tonight, but just
yeah, oh yeah,
chunks. Really, really something to put Brady Oliveira in space.
yeah,
I think from what we saw tonight, and also from the Blue Bombers offensive line, like I know who Walby would give his Warrior to. I'd give it to Jamarcus and Stanley and
yeah.
Pat and all those big boys up front. Chris Kolinkowski and Liam Dobson came in and did it. Jeff Gray and Simone Lawrence getting into it a little bit early in the game with some extracurriculars. So Jeff Gray is playing with a hard nose, and great to see the Winnipegger doing that. But with what we saw from the O-line tonight, with what we saw from the danger that is Zach Collaros' aerial attack with all these
Yeah.
weapons, like add Kenny Lawler to it. Good
Yeah, Kenny
gracious.
Lawler wasn't even freaking playing.
Yeah. I think Brady Oliveira can win the rushing title this year. I think he can be a 1,400 yard combined
Sure.
guy, maybe
Sure.
15.
If he
And you
plays
know
like
what?
this.
Yeah. And you know what? Nick Dembski has never had 1,000 yard season. Can you believe
Yeah,
that?
wouldn't that be great to have for Dembski?
He's well on his way, 113 in the first game.
And
Uh,
look, can
yep.
I just say one more thing
Yeah,
on
of course.
Oliveira? The other reason why you could give him your warrior is look who he was playing against. We talked about this in midweek, and you talked about it with Walby on Game Day Winnipeg. That you don't get much better than Simone Lawrence, right? You don't get much
Oh,
better than
Jameer Thurman.
Jameer Thurman. You
Whew.
don't get much better than, although he's a dime back or a DB. He does have to play in the box a little bit. And Chris Edwards.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a stacked linebacking core.
Yeah.
stacked. And then you throw in Jagarrett Davis in there, Teddy Laurent, Dylan Wynn, who wasn't playing
Oh,
tonight.
Casey Sales.
Casey Sales is a good
Mm-hmm.
run stopper. And despite that, it's 173 yards for Oliveira through the ground and through the air. Thank you for the fire starter who gave us the number there.
Yeah. Just wanted to pull this up here
Towson.
from Bomber fan who's watching live on YouTube. That Walby impression was not good.
Do you know what else wasn't good? Walby's attempt to do a Spanish accent.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was
Oh,
brutal.
we're gonna have to put that out on,
I wouldn't
maybe
say that to his face, but
we'll have to
woo.
we'll have to put a poll out this week. What was worse? I tend to agree with Bomber fan though. I think my impression of Walby was worse than Chris Walby's Spanish accent.
I do pretty good impressions, but I haven't spent enough time or any time with Walby. So we got to get down to Shannon's, and then if you give me some
Yes,
time with him, I will. Honestly, we should have an away game watch party at Shannon's.
I'm
An
down.
away game, go there, watch on the screens.
Yeah. There's nowhere else you really want to be on a game day. Shannon's Irish Pub. They've got all your favorite drink specials. As you see on screen, 21 beers on tap. Every single Jets game and Bombers game, home or away, they have got game day specials. Before the game, during the game, after the game, you can watch on their many, many screens in one of the most eclectic atmospheres in any pub in Canada. Oh, yes, I'm saying that because it's underneath the streets. Winnipeg's best kept secret, Shannon's Irish Pub, 175 Carlton Street. Just a quick little screen pass to Brady Oliveira down the street from True North Square is where you'll find them at 175 Carlton. Check them out, shannonsirishpub.ca, and you can see them. Get on Instagram, follow bonfire.sports, and then you'll see a lot of Shannon's stuff there as well. So big thanks to them for their sponsorship of the channel once again. Yeah, I'm down with a watch party there. Maybe we can even get Westwood out, as we got to pick our
Oh,
Westies wide to the right.
I'd love to see Westy. I mean, I don't know if we could. I don't know if we could swing doing the show from there. That would be even better. But even
Mm,
if we couldn't, to watch with all the fire starters and have Walby there, and
yeah,
maybe some of our other buddies, Jeff Hamilton and the like, Ted Wyman. It'd be
yep,
pretty sweet.
yep.
The last thing on
Let's do it.
Oliveira I'll say is just the way he ground out the clock at the end of the game, Darren?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other team knows you're gonna run the ball to finish the game, and despite that, they know what's coming. He still stuffs it down their throat. I just loved it from Oliveira.
Yep. He, I don't see a weakness in this Blue Bombers offense, like at
No.
all. And
It's
the
like Madden.
depth. Yeah, it's like a video game. And
Yeah.
the depth, because like, is Johnny Augustine going to be the same level of production as Brady Oliveira? No. But they got Greg McCrae, they got Nick Dembski. We've seen Rasheed Bailey run the football now. Agadosi and Dalton Schoen, who led the league in receiving last season, his rookie season. Brendan O'Leary Orange is waiting in the wings. Drew
Yeah.
Wolotarski pulled in a nice touchdown tonight. And then you have Nick Dembski. Like, regardless of passport, Nick Dembski is one of the best receivers in the CFL today.
Hands
Bar
down.
none. Bar none.
The routes that he runs and the way he's able to fake out DBs and make them look silly, man. Like he is there's probably probably other teams watch him on film and are just like, I don't know how you stop him.
Yeah. Bonfire hotline. The texts are coming in. Brandon B texted in and said 180 yards for Brady must be a career high. Not sure about
Yeah,
that, but it
yeah,
could very well be.
could be.
Great night for him. Completely agree. Brandon, thanks for texting the hotline. You know what? While we're talking about Nick Dembski, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. It's time for your happy honker. Nick Dembski, 100th game in the CFL tonight,
Yeah.
and he led all receivers with 113 yards. The dime off the arm of Zach Collaros to Nick Dembski beautifully thrown football. Perfect,
Yeah.
if you will. And Dembski, or pardon me, Zach Collaros even mentioned it on the radio post-game show to DT and DB over there on Obi, that he calls him like Willie Mays because he's doing these
Mm,
over the
mhm.
shoulder catches. And Kolaris, even kind of quipped that, he had to teach Nick Dembski who Willie Mays was. He says it's a shame, something to the effect of it's a shame this generation doesn't know that. But that's my happy honker, Nick Dembski, baby, like coming any day now. His family, no question, here in Winnipeg. So proud of him, the career he's put together, the level he is playing at right now, and hitting a great milestone for a Winnipegger. Oak Park High School, University of Manitoba, drafted by the rival Rough Riders, coming home to Winnipeg, winning championship after championship, and just having a monster game in week 1 at the Madhouse, 100th CFL game, career program game for Nick Dembski. Congratulations, Nick, and future congratulations to you and your partner on your new family that is just about to happen. That's my happy honker.
Well, Darren, I was gonna give the happy honker to myself because I did my inaugural Schnitzer stair climb for the year
Okay.
just before halftime when we went up by like 28 points. But I have to give my happy honker to the guy that was basically a beta blocker or Valium for Bomber fans at the Madhouse.
Oh.
Bomber fans who have a little bit of PTSD from some missed PATs. Sergio Castillo just put everyone at ease, my friend. Yeah, he's my happy honker. I can't tell you how many Bomber fans in the stands just did it like they every time he hit a PAT, a point after attempt, or a
Mm-hmm.
field goal, it
Yep.
was just like, oh, it was just like this audible sigh of relief there. And they said, this is why we signed Sergio. This is what we can expect from Sergio. And not only was he reliable at hitting the kicks he should have hit, he hits a 50-yarder to make
Yep.
it a 2-score game late in that fourth quarter. And again, fans, a sigh of relief. That was a low driving kick, but he needed to get the distance on it.
Nailed it.
And can you imagine if it was him in the Grey Cup last year? Like it just makes you think, but I won't get into that tonight. So he's my happy honker.
Good choice. I like that a lot. You really had to go there, didn't you? Week 1 and still picking at the scabs of a year
I
gone
just
by.
I just thought it was so funny when the fans I saw, like, they turned to each other and just they'd be like, "Whew, we don't have to worry about a point after attempt anymore." You get the touchdown, you celebrate, and you can, have a sip of your beer or, check Twitter. You don't have to look up and hold your breath. That is a gift from Sergio Castillo.
Agreed. Agreed. He was 4 for 4 tonight. That's a great happy honker. Great happy honker. Craig Smith, former player personnel and scout in the CFL, says defensive halfback Evan Holm looked good, impressive. He continued what we saw from
Yeah.
Evan Holm in training camp and in the preseason. Like so often, Zach, I get people texting the hotline or tweeting at me or in the live chat who looks good in training camp, who are the DBs that are standing out, who are the receivers that are standing out, who are the D linemen that are. It's hard to do that because I see things in practice and then I'm like, wow, that was impressive, like maybe he can do so there I am as somebody who is a reporter who's trying to be objective and fair and tell the truth to educate the fan base. And I'll see something and then I'll like, hey, Barrington Wade, he's long, he's rangy, he's quick, side to side, good tackler. Maybe he can be on special teams right away and fill in Kyrie Wilson on the 6 game. So maybe he's got an opportunity. Cut. Right? It's happened to receivers, it's happened to DBs. That all said, Evan Holm In 2022, I thought, I don't know if this guy's got it. I don't know if he's going to be a Blue Bomber for a long time. Uh, but I've been proven wrong big time. And he has been outstanding in both preseason games, was outstanding tonight. Mike O'Shea describes the UND product. I believe it was a former teammate, well, again, current teammate, but former college teammate of Brady Oliveira. Uh,
Right.
Mike O'Shea says Evan Holm has some of the best feet he's ever seen on a defensive back, which is wow, but his ability to get his hand in the right spot, to
Mhm.
turn his hips, to adjust on 1 foot or 2 feet, and turn and guard or defend, pass defend, guard, is really impressive. I agree with Craig Smith. He was impressive. He was outstanding tonight. Great comment there. We got to do Westwood's wide to the right and hand out our game balls, Zach. I do want to go back to the Bonfire hotline. I don't even know what area code is 306, but
It's
this,
Regina.
oh my goodness. Well, then that makes sense. Big Beaver Jerry here, loving the first half, he tweeted,
Definitely
or
Regina.
he texted the hotline during the game. Well done, Big Beaver Jerry. Appreciate you texting in 204-816-8477. Standard message rates apply, just like texting your mama. Big Beaver Jerry goes on to say, great game, but closer than it looked. Bombers got some breaks in the first half, or else it would have been a dogfight. Bombers seemed to let off with the big lead. Thank you for
Mm.
texting in, Big Beaver Jerry.
I'm not agreeing with everything Big Beaver Jerry said, but I appreciate him texting in as well.
Yeah, I don't know if he, I don't know if the Bombers like let off,
No,
but
they
they had miscues that
yeah,
really
definitely
cost them.
miscues.
Really cost them. But they didn't let it get to them. And I touched on that
Yeah,
with you right off the top, right? In that they go back to the huddle, they go back to the sideline, chin is up, no bad body language, no negativity.
totally.
They know that whatever's happened, and you can't do anything about it. You got to worry about the next play. And whether you're winning by 30 or losing by 30, the task is the same. Go
S-
smack someone in the mouth,
Yeah.
go win that down, and go score. That's all you got to do.
And
So,
what does Zach Collaros say there, Darren? Snap and clear, right?
yeah, that's right.
Snap and clear. Like snap the ball. It's your head is clear from the last play, and you don't see Mike O'Shea lighting up his players or any of the coaches screaming. It's just they just go and they just go about their business. Um, I had something burning that I was going to say, but I totally forget what it was. But
What was it? Cole
I,
McGarvey's comment here that the three off
it
or
could be.
question,
It
I
doesn't
guess.
take much to throw me off, Darren, anymore. Um, no, oh, this is what it was. Waiters is saying Castillo even had his own song after he made kicks. They had some kind of um,
Oh, in Edmonton.
no, in Winnipeg, like tonight, he's right. They even had some like it looked like a Mexican hat. Like they had some graphics up there on the jumbotron, and then they had some kind of Latin music. I forget where Sergio Castillo hails from or what his lineage is. I'm not sure what country it is or whether it's Central or South America, but
I
um,
think it's Mexico. I could be wrong.
oh, so okay.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, someone's gotta look it up or you look it up because they did play that, and I thought that was pretty funny or offensive depending on I hope it's not offensive to anybody, but, I thought it was pretty cute.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably not going to do it unless he's cool with it, right?
I would
Uh,
hope so.
he played at West Texas A&M. Well,
Okay.
West Texas. He was born in La Jolla, Texas, in 1990. Atlanta Falcons, Red Blacks, Ticats, Red Blacks, San Antonio Commanders, BC Lions. Nothing personal. I don't have anything personal on his Wikipedia page. But
Alright.
if you're from West Texas, you're probably you know, if
Go
you're
to Mexico.
Of Spanish descent,
Yeah.
Spanish heritage, it's quite possible. You know, before I even looked at it, I was like, I think it's Mexico. Now
Well,
learning
go
that,
with your gut.
yeah, I'll go with my gut. But hey, forgive us if we are wrong. We will correct ourselves. But nothing but love here for Sergio Castillo, because man, he has changed the complexion of the team.
Yeah.
Willie Jefferson, Zach, I don't know if you caught it on your drive home, but Willie Jefferson talking to the guys on OB after the show on the terrestrial airwaves. You know, they asked for his thoughts on the game, and you know, this was good and this was good, and he was just having fun. You know, typical Big Willie J style. Having fun on the radio and being his jovial self after a big win and a huge performance from himself. Uh, you know, kind of joking and saying field goal kicker was outstanding, and just the way he delivered it, you know, it got a laugh from DB and DT on OB, and
Yeah.
it was just a you know,
That's good, buddy. That's
it
funny.
brings a little bit of humanity and a little bit of like realness that you don't see in the NHL or the NBA. Well, maybe not. You see a lot of personality in the NBA. You don't see a lot in the NHL. You see that, you hear that, you really get to experience it in the CFL. That's why I love this league so much. I know that's why so many of you love this league, because it goes beyond, you know, these players are accessible and this and that. But like, look, the Bombers could have a Grey Cup. And I've said it over and over and over again. Okay. I was on CBC radio this morning with Marcy Marcusa. I said it to her. I was on CBC television, CBC News with Janet Stewart
They
prior to
put you on
kickoff. I
television?
know. Can you believe it?
Is that why
Uh,
you needed that special beard trim that you put out on Twitter?
what are you talking about? That was like 3 weeks ago.
No, it was not 3
Getting a
weeks ago.
little, oh, it was a while. It was a while.
Okay. Anyway,
Anyway, I said it to Marcy Marcusa. I said it to Janet Stewart. It was not one person's fault the Blue Bombers lost the 109th Grey Cup.
right.
You know, you and I have talked about it ad nauseum on Bonfire midweek.
Yeah.
Tune in Wednesday, 7:30, right here on the channel. Uh, but that said, we get a glimpse inside the pain that I think is probably dealt with by pro athletes in different ways. Willie Jefferson probably uses humor. So, you know, he does a little quip, a little shot, a little shade on the game one post game show where their field goal kicker goes 4 for 4, including a 50-yard crusher
Yeah.
early in the game. And, you know, uh, a little bit of insight into
Yeah.
little bit of inside
Absolutely.
ball. Yeah.
I like that. And I imagine if you're a player and you bust your ass on the field and you're not the kicker and you just know that your kicker is going to hit the routine ones that he needs to hit and he's going to hit 50 yarders for you.
And the
Boy,
converts.
does that, yeah, and converts, it just gives you so much confidence and, just like the fans, it makes you have a sigh of relief.
Yeah. Great to see you, Denny. One of the Shannon's family. He was down at the pub tonight.
All
Fun watching
right.
from Shannon's with other Bomber fans,
So,
says
Denis,
Denny.
tell us what do you think of an away game watch party at Shannon's? Maybe next week we're playing in Saskatchewan.
Yes.
What better opponent to go to Shannon's with all your favorite bonfire friends, with all the fire starters?
So I hate to throw water on that fire, Zach. I don't know if next week is going to work for me personally, because it is my mom and dad's 50th
Oh
wedding
wow,
anniversary.
Mazel
So
tov!
yeah,
That's an
thanks.
achievement.
Big congratulations to
Wow,
them.
that's lovely.
I know my mom is watching. I don't know if she's watching now, but she will. My dad's probably gonna listen on, you know, some app on his phone that he's gonna call me about tomorrow morning. Be like, how is this? I can't get
How's
the
this work?
volume. But you know, just absolutely beautiful people. And you know, they adopted me, got so much love for them, and my sister as well. She's coming in from Toronto this week on a flight.
Nice.
And yeah, like big congratulations. 50th wedding anniversary. It's worth mentioning to all of you out there because you're part of the family. You're part of the family. You're the Firestarters. And uh,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
we're all in this
congratulations
together.
to mom and dad, Darren. That's a pretty special accomplishment. Marriage isn't always easy, and
Mm.
to I was gonna say survive it for 50
I think that's fair.
years.
I think that's fair.
Don't
Yeah.
don't get any ideas about my marriage, folks. I'm not surviving it, although sometimes it
You
is
have a
surviving.
beautiful wife and two
Yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
children and a house full of pets. Man, you got it all. You really do. And I'm sure you
yeah.
want to pull your hair out sometimes. I'm
I
sure
do.
Bombers wins like this tonight help. But you got to go to the
Yeah.
game with your mother-in-law. You go to
Oh
all the
yeah,
games
baby.
with your mom-in-law. Your mother-in-law
Hit the
is a
hit the
huge Bombers
jackpot
fan.
with that woman.
You did. Your wife isn't even a huge Bomber fan,
Well,
but her
I hit
mom
the
is.
jackpot. My wife can't say anything because I'm hanging out with her mom at the
Yeah.
game.
Oh
What
man.
can she say to me? Nothing.
That's
It's my hall pass.
wow. You know what? That's almost like a Seinfeld episode, you know? Like that's
Yeah.
perfect. That is
Yeah, it is.
perfect.
It is
Hit up
perfect.
the live chat if you got something comparable to that. Like you got a perfect, I'm not going to call it an excuse, a perfect reason for your Bombers fandom that maybe gets you a little bit of slack from the spouse or the partner or the significant other or the rest. Great to see everybody congratulating my parents on their 50th.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. Oh, there you go. T Kona Polly's got the right idea. DB's parents' 50th at the Bomber watch party at
Love it.
Shannon's. Might have to do that. Might have to do that. Hey, Neil, great to see you. Always chiming in,
Hey,
watching
Neil,
on
how are
Facebook.
you? We keep missing each other, buddy.
Yeah. So, you know, do you got a Westwood wide to the right? I hate to go from the good
I
to the bad, but
do.
here we are.
I do. I could give it to the Bombers for all of those bizarre turnovers, but I'm actually going to give it to the Tiger Cats because those are unforced errors. 12 penalties for 101 yards, and there was actually a couple more which the Bombers declined to make sure that the Ticats run second and long. That is just putrid.
Hmm.
You just can't do that in pro football, especially against the Blue Bombers. So I'm gonna give it to the Ticats penalty troubles.
That's really hard to disagree with. I'm trying to think of one. Um, you know what? Here, my Westwood's wide to the right is not the penalties, but similarly, the Hamilton Tiger Cats turnovers. They had like what, six? I gotta look it up. Six turnovers tonight? It's insane.
Yeah.
And last season, the uh the Hamilton Tiger Cats had a lot of troubles with turnovers and those being back-breaking
Hmm.
turnovers. It was Dane Evans late in games. They started 0-3 and then like 2-4. Like it was not a good start, but they won 5 of their last 8 and got into the playoffs. Um, but it was a huge, like the giveaways was a huge reason why Hamilton was so smelly last year, and the city probably is still a little bit. Uh,
Maybe I was there for the
I'm
Grey
only
Cup. There,
I'm only
there were
saying
some
that
smells.
I'm only saying that because it's like well after 1 a.m. in Southern Ontario. Uh,
Nobody there's watching. You're
no, and
safe.
I joke, of course. I do enjoy Hamilton. I'm looking forward to going to the Grey Cup there this year. My outstanding Airbnb host Kenneth was texting me during the game
Oh
tonight.
yeah.
He might be watching or listening. What's going on, Kenneth? Glad to hear
Hey
you're
Kenneth.
glad to hear you're on the mend, my friend. And maybe I'll have to dial you up for the cellars, which is what he calls his basement that he rents out on Airbnb. But love
Uh,
Hamilton, great town. But my Westwood wide to the right is Hamilton's propensity to just give the ball away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Dietrich Nichols punched one out, and Celestin Haba uh, stripped one away from the quarterback. Bo threw a bad pick, threw a couple bad picks. Winnipeg made plays. Like, that's the whole thing. Is it a mistake, or was it a great play from the other team? Sometimes it's both. Um, so that's my Westwood wide to the right tonight. If Hamilton wants to be in the Grey Cup, they built the roster this season to be in the
Yeah.
Grey Cup. I think
Yep.
they can be there, Zach. I'm not giving up on the Ticats. And
Well, you
for
look at Tim White, you look at Duke Williams. That's a scary duo.
James
James
Butler,
Butler.
wait till Chris
If
Van Zyl is
right,
healthy again, and Alex Fontana on the offensive line.
Joe
Wait
Figueroa.
for Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he played tonight.
He played tonight. I'm just saying they have a stacked lineup.
Yep. Wait for Dylan Wynn to join Ted Laurent and
Right.
Casey Sales,
Right.
right? Um,
Oh, and
uh,
Kongbo too, right? Waiters is
they're loaded on
IDB.
the defensive line, loaded.
Yeah. And
And
your tie, they'll call them your tie cats if you keep talking about them like this, Darren. Do we
okay.
really want to bring that up from last year, boss fire starters?
People
Just
were
keeping it, Darren.
people were tweeting at me. They were in my mentions, man, all winter. Like, oh, Ticat's going to be atop your power rankings to start the season. If you want Zach and my power rankings going into 2023, you can find it on the podcast. You can find it on the YouTube channel or Facebook. Just from this past Wednesday, in episode 2 of season 2 of Bonfire Midweek, where we talk about the Bombers and the CFL on the whole. That was a fun episode to do. Okay,
Yeah.
we have got game balls to give away, Zach, before we
Yep.
wrap things up. Great to see everybody in the live chat. Like, we're closing in on 1,000 comments tonight.
That's
And
crazy, dude.
there's still 130 people watching on YouTube. There's more watching on Twitter and Facebook. There's more, like hundreds are going to be listening to the podcast. I look at all those numbers. I read every comment. Maybe not in the live chat. It's tough doing a show, but I read every comment on Facebook and YouTube below the video, that sort of thing. Everybody that texts the hotline, read it all and respond if appropriate, if I can answer. So keep that going. Game balls tonight, Zach. You get first swing.
I get first swing because I keep going first and I keep stealing things from you. So are you
No,
sure?
but I stole. What did I steal from you tonight? Oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
I gave Willie Jefferson the Wallby Warrior. I stole him from you.
Right. You stole my Worldly Warrior and then you forced me to take one on offense, which, you know,
Oh, it's tough
it
choices
was tough
tonight.
to pick one on
Yeah,
offense.
really digging
But I
deep.
but I am gonna go to the offense for my game ball and no I was joking with Logan and David and Steve and those guys about giving away a bunch of game balls just to piss you off. But I'm not gonna play Oprah Winfrey here. I'm just gonna give away one game ball. And that's gonna be, although many people would be I could easily give away 5 or 6 game balls, but I'm going to give one game ball away to Zach Collaris. 21 of 31 for 67.7% for 354 yards,
Mm-hmm.
3 touchdowns,
Mm.
and a quarterback efficiency rating near perfect at 138.4. He is just playing. He's just on a different level. He's playing a different game than everybody else. He has the it factor and he's so fun to watch, Darren, especially for fans like me who went through the years of Jason Boltis and Max Hall and Drew Willie, just some of those Justin Goltz,
Brian
Alex Brink,
Brom.
Brian Brom,
Mm.
even Matt Nichols. Now, Matt Nichols brought some respectability and stability back to this franchise, but he wasn't a gunslinger. He played a very controlled game that was, sort of orchestrated by Lapo. Things were schemed open if they were open.
He wasn't going to win you a game. He wasn't going to put a team on his back. He
No,
definitely wasn't going to throw for 354 yards.
no, no, he wasn't.
So your first game ball goes to QB1, Zach Collaris.
Yeah, he's just a pleasure to watch. He's a gunslinger. Yeah, he's good for maybe a pick a game, but but he just throws the ball around the park just with aplomb. Like, he's just fun to watch. He's a gunslinger. He's a master. I was gonna say magician,
Hmm.
and maybe he is a bit of a magician.
A
Oh, we forgot
little,
about
Colaris abracadabra.
abracadabra, just like Darcy Oak.
That's right.
Yep. Now you see him. Now you don't.
Would you say we forgot? I don't think we forgot anything.
We didn't forget. No, I was talking to I was mumbling to myself. What's your game ball, buddy?
I love it. You do a post game show here with hundreds watching, and it's like I'm just mumbling to myself.
I'm just
Don't
mumbling.
don't worry about what I
It's
say.
getting late.
Don't worry about it.
Don't
It
listen
is
to what
getting
I say.
late. It is getting late. But hey, that's what this is. This is game day
Yeah.
after dark. So okay, this is how I'm going to approach game balls this year. I'm going to give a game ball as if I'm the head coach. Okay. It might not go to the best player. It might not go to the guy who did the biggest things in the game. Sometimes it might go to somebody who I think just deserves it. Somebody who needs it. You know what I mean? It'll
There
be
you
a good
go.
motivating thing. So I'll give an offense and a defensive game ball, okay? And I'll give some honorable mentions to Evan Holm, who was awesome once again. We talked about him. Celestin Haba, big play in his first pro game
Hmm.
with the strip sack. Willie Jefferson, great game. Nick Dembski and Brady Oliveira, Zach Collaros, all great games. But I'm going to give my number one game ball to a guy who people were maybe doubting a little bit earlier this year, who had a really tough go in 2022 with an injury that ended his season. That really stepped up, was Johnny on the spot, made the plays that were in front of him, and had a huge impact on tonight's game. And that is Demarcus Houston. He gets my game ball. He
Good pick.
deserves it.
Good pick, DB.
There you go. That's what I got. Okay, you
Two
got
two
another game ball?
interceptions. He had a couple of
Mm,
pass knockdowns.
yeah.
I think he also had a fumble recovery, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh,
Houston. He had a whale of a game.
he had a fumble recovery. Yes, he did. He had
Yeah.
a fumble recovery, 2 picks. Uh, Gosh, he had 10 fumble return yards,
Oh yeah.
a pass defended, had a tackle. He was big. He was
Yeah.
really big. Yeah.
So that's your game ball on. I like what you're doing here. I like this. So that's your game ball on defense. Who's your
Mhm.
game ball on offense?
I'll give my game ball on offense to not Brady, not Brady Oliveira, not Nick Dembski, not Zach Collaros. I'm gonna give it to the offensive line. I'm gonna say,
Nice.
hey Chris, call over Chris Kolinkowski and say, you're the guy who touches the ball first every single down on offense. You go call the huddle. You're the point of attack. Here's the game ball. Go share it with your teammates. All 6 of those guys on the offensive line. Sorry, 7. Jacob Stott played,
Mm,
dressed and played today. As we didn't even touch on that. Mike Miller and
right.
Brian Cole, linebacker, both pulled out of the lineup last minute. Mike Miller was a game time decision, and then they added him and Brian Stott and Damian Jackson, the Navy SEAL. They were added to the
Right.
roster at like 4 o'clock today, which is a very rare thing. So something was cooking there. But I'm giving it to the offensive line. They were great, and they were the reason Winnipeg did not um, did not wilt under the
Yeah.
heat of the sun, for a complete over analogy of it.
Well, I mean, they say games are won in the trenches, right? For a cliche, there you go.
Yeah.
But that's the foundation, the O&D line that your team is built on, and when you're thrown into the fire and you commit 3-4 turnovers in a row,
Mhm.
you have to have that foundation sort of steady you, and that's what the O line did tonight. And they opened up holes for Brady Oliveira too, and they kept Zach clean. I mean, I don't even think there was a sack on Collaros tonight.
Oh, Cappy D with just an outstanding comment. Watching live on YouTube, Cappy, great to see you, man.
Happy D,
Got to
nice.
meet Cappy last year. Hilarious. When Bo goes home tonight, his kids will be back wearing their Stampeders gear. Outstanding comment from Cappy D. Love to see that. Jeff Cabillas agrees with me. Game Ball Songspire. Good to see you in the live chat.
Yes.
Maybe a new name. Maybe you've been here before. Maybe you're new. Houston, Castillo, Stanley Bryant, Evan Holm. All
Yeah.
had great games tonight. The Blue Bombers played incredibly well.
Everybody played well.
They
Like the
really did.
secondary, the number of knockdowns that they like. How hard is it to get a knockdown running full speed and not getting a pass interference call?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. Bomber fan who's had a couple good comments tonight says Demiro Houston has a nose for the ball. Don't think the point after attempt interception counts as an interception technically. I thought the
I
same
think it
thing.
actually does.
I thought the same thing, Bomber fan. I thought the same thing. It is on the stat sheet. Now the
It's on the
CFL
stat
is
sheet. I'm
they're
looking
having
at it right now.
issues. They're having issues with the stats this year. So
Yes.
we'll see if that comes out in the wash. But it should. Don't you think it should?
Yeah, I hope they get it all figured out. But
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, but it when I saw it on the stat sheet, I figured okay. So you have a game ball on offense and defense. Is that how you're doing it?
Yes.
Okay, like it. I love
Yeah.
it.
And if there is a
I'll do the
special
same.
teams, if there's a special teams one, I'll maybe throw one in there too,
I'll
in
do the
place
same
of
next time.
offense or defense. Yeah. So do you
So
well?
so here you were railing against me for giving out multiple game balls, and now you're starting a tradition of at least 2 game balls, Darren,
Just two. Just two.
and maybe 3 on special teams.
No, I will take one away from offense or defense. We had way too many games. For those who are wondering why we're bickering about this at 12:30 in the morning, it's because we had too many game balls last year, and it was like, Zach, the budget is
Yeah.
out the window because I'm ordering
Oprah,
footballs
you get a car,
from
you get a
Wilson.
car, you get a car.
Man, I got their customer service on speed dial, and I'm like, I need another 6 game balls to give
Yeah.
away.
You're running out of balls
You're breaking the bank.
and breaking your balls and
you're
running out of
you're
balls.
you're busting my balls.
Add
That's
your
that's for sure.
balls innuendo, folks.
Okay, careful.
Careful now.
Uh,
Okay.
well, I think that's it. We got our. You only had the one game ball, Zach. What's up with that?
I'm trying to redeem myself, Darren. I'm trying to I want you to keep me
Well,
on the show,
this
okay?
is like a makeup. Like you just won today because of the 5 you had in week 3 last year. Or
Listen, I'm just thinking about Shannons, and like next Friday we got a game in Regina. You have a very important event to attend. Um when's our anniversary? I think I might have to bring the mother-in-law to Shannon's Irish pub or something. I don't know. And watch the game from there.
there you go. There you
Jeff, you
go.
and I got to meet sometime. Maybe you'll come down to Shannon's when I go. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, but this is the whole thing. Like, yeah, it might be a big family event for my family on game day this coming week with the Bombers in Regina to face the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who expect to be 0-1. We'll see.
Yeah, probably.
We'll see how it shakes out this weekend. If you're listening on the podcast, you're probably saying like, "Well, no, they're up 42-7 right now. What are you talking about, you dummy?" But Winnipeg in Regina, we will have pregame, postgame, and bonfire midweek. 3 shows that are going to happen every week, all season long. We'll see how the bye weeks shake out. Bonfire midweek is Wednesdays live at 7:30 p.m. on all of our channels. If the Bombers play a Thursday night game, that means Game Day Winnipeg with Chris Walby is the day before the game. So that will be on Wednesday. Zach, you and I will probably do Tuesday night. We'll try to
Yep.
stick to 7:30. So
Can
appreciate
make
everyone's
that work.
flexibility. I appreciate your flexibility more than anything, Zach, with
Hey,
busy household you have.
I can still do the splits actually.
What?
I could do it when I was a kid. I was very flexible and I maintained that. Now there's a big belly hanging over my legs when I do it. But This is a bad visual, folks.
I didn't even want to say it. I didn't even want to say
It's a
that.
bad visual.
No, man. You know
No, I
what?
don't have a huge belly yet. It'll
Jeff
get
Ca-
there
Jeff
eventually.
Kabila's always has very sharp perspective on
He
things, and
does.
he's calling it like it is right now. Bonfire after dark. LOL. Yeah, no, it's true. We are in full on after dark mode right now. So hey, Mark Morissette mentioning something. People really
Yes.
want the bonfire hats. Look, I've talked to a whole bunch of different distributors, well, a few, and the place where I had these ones made kind of screwed up the second batch I tried to make.
Oh,
So
really?
I've lost confidence.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that because we have
Yeah, who want them?
so
I
many
I know,
people wanting them.
I know. They're great hats. Waiters wants you to do the splits. I say
I'll
no.
do it if someone can take a picture. I'll actually do it.
I say no to that, but uh,
In my underwear, just like Jean Claude Van Damme. I saw that comment, Cabelas.
yeah, I think more likely than you doing the splits, or I think more likely is the 3 foot hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it,
I would
36
take that
inches?
down with you and any other
Man, oh
fire
man.
starters. If you
Uh,
message me and we'll the next home game, maybe a few of us will go in on it.
I don't know if I can afford it.
No, you can't we can't afford it by ourselves. It's like 45 bucks, but
No, I spent all my money on game balls.
you have, sir. Good.
I
Good
have.
touche.
I have. Well, you know what? Here, I'll show. I got one ball that I cannot give up, and this is one that the CFL sent me. You see it over my shoulder there.
That's beauty.
That is from the 2019 Grey Cup, that dominant Blue Bombers win in Calgary over the Hamilton
Oh,
Tiger
that's a
Cats.
nice ball.
Yeah, it's like the commemorative uh, ball from the game, has like the white panel with the score and that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Big shout out Lucas Barrett with the Canadian Football League, who is just an awesome communications. I think he's like an associate vice president now. So congratulations
Good
on the
guy to know.
promotion, and great people at the CFL office. They got their hands full right now. They're working their tails off to get stats straightened out for fans and that sort of thing. But as I mentioned off the top, if you want to look at stats, a good place to go is twitter.com/bonfirewpg. Twitter.com/bonfirewpg. And we got some screenshots of the stats that as they stood at the end of the game. So we'll see how that shakes out. Any final thoughts from you, Mr.
Hey.
Schnitzer?
Yes, well, it was a great home opener. I mean, I wish that they had unveiled the 13th Grey Cup banner, but that wasn't what it was all about. But it was a great matchup against a real rival in the Tiger Cats. It was probably the best part was to shut Bo Levi Mitchell up. He always seems to play well at IG Fields, but tonight he didn't have a very good game. It was nice to see him lose. I am a petty Bomber fan. I do not like Bo Levi Mitchell, and I'm glad we served him his lunch um, on a tray. What am I trying to say here? It's just so late. I was just what do you say when you serve someone their lunch? When you give someone their lunch? What is that?
I don't know.
We
I
fed
don't
him his.
know.
I don't know. Someone
He
on the
fed him
chat
his own lunch.
fed him his
Yeah.
own lunch.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know that cliche.
I
Um,
just, I'm sure he's a nice guy and he has a lovely family, but boy, do I love beating Bo Levi Mitchell,
yeah.
especially at home and just hearing the roar of the crowd. I was trying to get them standing on their chairs at one point, but
Mm,
everybody was just vociferous. That's a good word,
you see
vociferous.
that?
We got
It's
loud.
like I turned on the bathroom light in the middle of the night. You see that?
What did you do there?
Well, I pulled up the CFL schedule because I want to see who Hamilton is playing next week. They're at Toronto on Sunday,
Okay,
June 18th.
interesting.
So we'll see about that. Holy cow, I got to turn that off. Oh. Okay, so my final thought is: look, Bombers fans, you have a lot to be encouraged about right now. Your quarterback looks in midseason form. So too do his receivers. The offensive line, Brady Oliveira, looking like the most dangerous offensive weapon potentially in the entire league right now. As a Canadian and a Winnipegger, the most dangerous weapon in the receiving core, a Canadian and a Winnipegger in Nick Dembski. The defense was disruptive. They made Hamilton do things they didn't want to do. And yes, the Blue Bombers made mistakes tonight. They made mistakes that were really, really costly, but they played clean football. The penalties, the turnovers were a huge factor in tonight's game. But the reason Winnipeg comes away with a 42-31 victory in week one in a rivalry matchup at the Madhouse to kick off 2023 here in Southern Manitoba. You got an entertaining game on a perfect Manitoba night for football. And well, now you're looking towards potentially, a lot of fun next Friday in Saskatchewan against the Rough Riders. So times are good right now if you're a Bombers fan. I think it makes, maybe coming away with an L in the Grey Cup last November a little bit more digestible, that you're like, well, our window's not closed yet. It's Grey Cup or bust for this Blue Bombers team. That's for sure.
Oh, it is Grey Cup or bust, and I hate to say that because there's no room for error, but it is what it is. When you're when you're this good as a team, it's just it is what it is.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, hey, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Big thanks to Shannon's Irish Pub. Go check them out when the Bombers are on the road. Maybe even check them out this weekend. They are an awesome spot. They've got 21 beers on tap, all your favorite cocktails, scotches, and whiskeys. But their food is off the charts. I'm not exaggerating. Their wings are aces. Great selection of flavors, dry and wet, whichever your desire is. But some of their food menu choices are just awesome. They still have the venison burger, Zach. They still have
Hmm.
the wild boar burger. So go check them out. Great burgers, great sides, great drinks, great people, and just a very eclectic, unique atmosphere underneath the streets of downtown Winnipeg. Just a Brady Oliveira bubble screen down the block from True North Square, 175 Carlton. So big thanks to Shannons. This was awesome. Good start to the
Awesome.
regular season, all things
Welcome to
considered.
the regular season. Great kickoff to the regular season. What I was trying to say earlier is that we served Levi Mitchell his lunch on a tray smeared with ash. Just like,
Whoa.
yeah,
I think
just
I think
ashes.
I think you got to rewrite that and re-deliver it on Bonfire midweek Wednesday when we go live at 7:30.
A lunch tray smeared with ash.
You got to rewrite that. You got to rewrite that.
This it's all ash backwards from here,
Yeah,
buddy.
something's ash backwards.
Yeah,
Something is ash backwards. I
yeah,
completely agree.
yeah,
Uh, Thanks to everybody for joining us in the live chat. Everybody, it's your boy Bruce. I've been seeing you bring it all night. Everybody, Craig Smith, always good to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Thanks everybody. We'll see you Wednesday for
yes.
Bonfire Midweek. Pregame on Thursday. Post game on Friday. It's going to be a great week here in Winnipeg. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy your weekend. And we're going to see you next time.
Sayonara, everybody.